Order. The honourable member for Denison.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker,
Order. The member for Bruce will cease interjecting.
My question is to the Prime Minister. Can the Prime Minister inform the House of the response of APPM to attempts to settle the mill dispute at Burnie?
The Honourable the Prime Minister.
Speaker, Mr Speaker.
Order. There's far too much noise.
Mr Speaker, APPM, instead of accepting the mediating efforts of
Order. If the member for Mayo interjects again, I'll deal with him. Members on my right will cease interjecting, and I warn the member for Moreton.
Mr Speaker, instead of accepting the mediation efforts of the Tasmanian Premier, APPM have today sent letters to all their employees sacking them from midnight tonight. Sacking them from midnight tonight. The attitude of the company has hitherto been almost inexplicable, and today, in Hobart, a Supreme Court judge has declined to make an order that police take action against picketers. Well, do I get some protection from this gabbling fool here, Mr Speaker?
Order. Order. Members on my left will cease interjecting. The member for Lowe will cease interjecting.
In Hobart,
the Leader of the
a Supreme Court
Opposition
judge has declined to make an order that police take action against picketers at the Burnie APPM mill. Now, Mr Speaker, we discover in a display of duplicitousness that the Leader of the Opposition and his industrial relations spokesman have been enjoining us not to have the political system enter the dispute, but we discover they've been in it up to their necks. We discover that the time he came out, the Leader of the Opposition came out publicly supporting APPM, he was in secret discussions with its owners. We discover that at the same time, the member for Bennelong. We discover at the same time the member for Bennelong was telling the government at the same time that Johnny B. Good over here was telling the government that
the Prime Minister will refer to the member by.
Well, the member for Bennelong was telling the government to stay out of the dispute. He was meeting the company behind closed doors. Now, Mr Speaker, we found yesterday in a report Opposition Leader John Hewson had talks with Peter Wade, Managing Director of North Broken Hill, the parent company of Associated Pulp and Paper Mills, in Melbourne 2 weeks ago. A spokesman for Dr Hewson said tonight the meeting was primarily about resource security, but did cover the dispute. And here he is. I mean, this will give you some idea of the integrity of this man. Up in the chamber, the chamber of the Parliament of the Commonwealth, saying stay out of the dispute.
The Leader of the Opposition
and he's been down there talking to the company
and the member for Bennelong.
I know he's agitated because he's a fraud and a cheat. Mr Speaker.
Order. The Prime Minister. Order. The Prime Minister will withdraw that remark.
Mr Speaker.
Order. The Prime Minister will withdraw that remark.
Mr Speaker, he's made a fraudulent comment to the Parliament. He's told the Parliament that politicians shouldn't be involved in the dispute, and he was talking to the management.
Order. It will help the debate if the Prime Minister withdraws that remark.
I'll withdraw, Mr Speaker. Yeah. The opposition's industrial relations spokesman, John Howard, today revealed he also had a meeting with Mr Wade. At Mr Wade's request, to discuss a range of issues. Throughout the dispute, Mr Howard has consistently said politicians should refrain from interfering in nearly the 3-week-old dispute, stopping short of criticising his party's leader. Mr Howard, who also had another meeting with APPM Chief Executive Bill Paisley and Public Relations Officer Chris Oldfield in Canberra a month ago, told Parliament Mr Wade had briefed him on the company's position in the dispute and why it had behaved the way it had. Now, Mr Speaker,
Order. The member for Fisher.
Now, Mr Speaker, the duplicity of this. Listen to this, Mr Speaker. The member for Bennelong. I argue throughout this dispute that sometimes silence at the political level is golden in certain industrial disputes. I believe we'll have better industrial relations in Australia if, on occasions when industrial disputes arise, parliamentarians on both sides, state and federal, stay out of these disputes. I mean, what a phony! What a phony! I mean, how duplicitous, having private meetings, geeing the dispute along, trying to get your willful ideological way, while you're out there saying this. Now it goes on. It
Order.
gets better,
The
Mr.
House
Speaker.
will come to order.
I believe it would be a very good idea if politicians refrained from giving running commentaries on each and every industrial relations dispute that occurred in this country. Government should butt out of industrial disputes. That's said with all the sincerity of a Mississippi riverboat gambler. Now, Mr. Speaker, and that's the kind of duplicity we've always had from Honest John. Honest John. Now,
Prime
Mr.
Minister,
Speaker,
refer to the member by his title.
The member for Bennelong. Let me deal with. Let me deal now with the Leader of the Opposition. Let me deal with the. He said this. It's very difficult for us to comment on the detail of the strike, although I must say I have some sympathy with the company's position. He hopped in and supported the company right throughout the dispute, and then. But I must say from this, I see that from the way I see that dispute, I'm surprised. I'm surprised, quite frankly, the way Mr. Groom hasn't given the company more support in its right to deal with its workers on over-award terms and conditions. They've been behind the scenes, Mr. Speaker, while urging the government to stay out of the matter, and worse than that, saying this is your industrial relations system and is not working, when they are urging the company to break away from the system, to operate as though it were freezing people out of their jobs, and then obviously supporting the sacking of employees.
The Prime Minister resumes. The member for Bennelong will withdraw that remark. Which remark? The member for Bennelong knows the remark he's required to withdraw.
Well, I did say it was another Keating lie, but in deference to you, I will withdraw it. But after the way he has behaved, you ought to have the guts to impose an even-handed treatment in this House. You ought to do that. You sit down.
I name the member for Bennelong.
For Bennelong was suspended from the service.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. All those that opinion say aye. Order! The House will come to order. Order! All those that opinion say aye. Those against no. I think the ayes have it. Order. Division required. Ring the bells. Order. The member for Bennelong knows that one doesn't come to the dispatch box for a long while like that. Order. The House will come to order. Order. The House will come to order. The member for Bennelong will remain silent. The member for Bennelong will remain silent. Order. The House will come to order. The Prime Minister will cease interjecting. Order. The member for Bennelong will restrain himself. If the member for Lowe's not careful, he'll be named during the division. Order.
By anything at all, that would be allowed. We had a warning with this and told the court this yesterday, and you sat there and said nothing about it. You started.
Oh, shucks.
Well, listen to that.
Order.
Yeah. Now you're back in the pig.
Order. I might just remind members about interjections during divisions. Lock the doors. The question is that the member for Bennelong be suspended from the service of the House. The ayes will move to the right of the chair, the noes to the left. I appoint the honourable members for Fowler and Canning tellers for the ayes, the honourable members for Riverina Darling and Wakefield tellers for the noes. I might just inform the House that we have present in the gallery this afternoon the Deputy Prime Minister of New Zealand, and on behalf of members, I extend to him a very warm welcome. Order. The House will come to order.
Anyway, you can come down and open my campaign, John, anytime, mate. Anytime.
Order. The result of the division is ayes 69 and noes 66. The division is therefore resolved in the affirmative. The honourable member for Bennelong is suspended from the service of the House for 24 hours. Has the Prime Minister completed his answer?
No, Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
I conclude on these 2 points. In another display of a lack of principle, the opposition cancelled their pairs in that division, cancelled their pairs which were given, cancelled them in that division, in another display of total lack of principle. And Mr Speaker, can I say beyond that, can I say the main point is wilfully connived. I don't mind you calling me a creep. I don't mind you calling me a creep.
Order. The House will come to order.
I just say, Mr Speaker, I don't mind the Leader of the Opposition calling me a creep. Mr Speaker, this person and the member for Bennelong wilfully connived in the prolongation of an industrial dispute for their own political purposes against the interests of the people of Tasmania and the people of Burnie in particular.